Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zelda 1 Pentaforce Tournament, Swiss round number 1. Today we have myself and Fury SK for your commentation. Fury will be along here shortly, and welcome to our runners, of course, RadioRichG and Tetraly. I hope everybody has fun watching, and we will start here in a little while. Well, speaking of Fury, here he is.
Yep, I'm sneaking into the booth now.
You're on lead, Fury. All right, so it looks like we're now ready. 3, 2, 1, and go. Here we go. Nice find by Tetraly right off the start. Oh, well, do we have a technical difficulty with RadioRichG here? Nope, we're good.
Alright, I've got the restream up now, so I guess what we're probably looking for is, if we haven't already seen the Armos item, that's probably priority number 1. Priority number 2 will be looking for the wood swords. They have a A-button weapon to use.
Yeah, right now they just have to pretty much evade, hide, and try to find anything to fight.
The good news is we do have route divergence as long as Radio can get past the blue Lionel that decide to say no.
It's death.
And not too far behind him was Tetraly, also with the death, so it doesn't look like the easiest of overworlds to get out of.
Well, once they find something they can defend themselves with, blue candle, wood sword, just something, they should start rolling a lot smoother.
We've seen at least 2 of the Armos on the eastern side of Hyrule. I'm not sure if we've seen the 3rd yet.
Not that I know of yet.
If that's the case, and we have seen it, then it will be in the grave. Otherwise, you got a 50-50 shot at it still.
Western Coast Cave doesn't pay off. Wow. Nice find by RadioRichG, getting those rupees right early.
Yep, getting a hefty amount of rupees early will allow you to potentially buy a key. A lot of runners decide to take the key early on because they have a chance to get into level 1 and dig it out a little bit. And usually level 1 is the more key block to the small dungeons.
And Tetra's found level 6, and very nice.
It's definitely good to know the location of level 6, but it's probably not one she prefers to dig early on, as it's fairly linear on the bottom half, and on the top half there's just a lot of blockage in terms of doors and non-bombable walls. Looks like Tetra's making the play towards the Grave Armos, so we may get a chance to see what we have for free on the overworld this seed. good news about... Oh, wait a minute, that's a ladder.
Hello, ladder.
There's one of the 3 items that I would deem key items to getting into level 9, the other 2 being silvers and bow. So that's gotta feel good for Tetra to find early. What I was gonna say is it looks like RadioRichG is mapping out all of the warp zones for this seed, which aren't actually that bad. A lot of seeds you have 2 or 3 that are grouped together and one by itself. This seed, they're pretty well spread out across Hyrule.
Should allow for pretty fast travel before they could find the whistle, or if they find it.
And I would think she caught a glance at the ladder item, but isn't making her way over there. Did we see what the item was on the coast?
Not yet. I don't think either have checked.
Chat is indicating that the ladder item is the vanilla heart container. So that would explain why she's not in a hurry. However, it would allow her to potentially pick up the white sword item 33% of the time should she go over there and pick it up. So we'll see if she decides to do so now.
Yep, went for it. Nice.
So with 150 rupees in hand, basically on both sides at this point, I would think the goal for both runners is to find a candle or a bomb shop to allow them to open up more of the routes that they choose to take early on in this race. I think we've also eliminated a lot of the open caves in the northeast, in the forest, and I do believe over in the grave. So it looks like Dead Woods, Vanilla Start, or maybe the Mountain Cave could potentially be it if it's not one of these 2 in the far northeast corner. You also have Vanilla 5 as an option.
Almost synced up at this point.
Yeah, the northeast is a pretty popular spot to look early on. There's a high amount of caves up top there, and it's just beneficial to try and hit them all early because you may have a chance to get the wood sword more so there than anywhere else where the chances are slightly less. It looks like they might actually find a blue ring shop or something to spend a lot of their money on before they actually find the sword.
Wood Rizro makes a good point that Vanilla 1 seems to have the wood sword a lot, same with 6.
And I'm guessing by that sprite that that is the paper pickup for Tetraly. And Vanilla 5 has another one of our large secrets, so he being Radio Rich, is now up to 255 rupees, guaranteeing a blue ring pickup if he chooses to.
Let's see what White Sword Cave has in store.
This is going to be his best chance to get in there, and it looks like he made it. And it's just an old man that can potentially give you a potion once he finds the paper. And Tetra opted not to initially use the paper, and now will do so. And it looks like the blue potion is well under its normal price. It looks like it's 28 rupees, whereas the red potion is a little bit more expensive. And she's going to save a little bit of money by buying 2 of them.
Yeah, that was a very nice price, and ouch, there goes RadioRichG again with the death.
And she doesn't know it yet, but it's a good thing she bought the 2 potions from the shop. She could have bought either one. Because when she goes up here to Vanilla 5, it's going to give her 255 rupees once again.
Here goes RadioRichG on a 1. Let's see what he finds. Oh, there's the blue ring. Very nice.
I don't know too much about RadioRichG in this case, but if you're a newer runner to the Zelda 1 randomizer in general, the advice we tend to give you is to go ahead and make the combat less of the game and make the routing more of the game for yourself, because once you take some of that combat trouble out of the equation, you're no longer at such a disadvantage when you're playing someone who's played for 100, 150, 200 seeds.
It's been a very interesting start for this seed, considering no combat pickups at all.
Yep, and there's lots of Lionels in some of the key cutoff points in the, or choke points in the map.
Definitely what you do not want to see in this situation.
Yep, unfortunately for Tetra, she's found the leave your excessive amount of keys in this case, and or heart container. And she picked up the heart from the coast. Had she not, and had she been on 3 hearts, she could have gone into what we call zombie mode, which is when you're at 3 hearts, it can't take away 1. So it just takes away all your health and leaves you at basically 1 hit. And that early on in the dungeon, all you'd have to do is up an A after hitting that room, and voila, you're back to full health. My expectation for level 2 is that she'll probably pay that price at some point in the near future, just because it's such a small dungeon with a floor item that you don't want to pass it up. Similarly, with it being 5 Triforces to actually get into level 9 in this flag set, it's important to try and find the dungeons that you can get the Triforce out of quickly, and 2 is often enough one of those dungeons. And that's a nice screen wrap by RadioRichG. You went ahead and got away from some of the nasty northwest, southwest of that little corridor that you'd have to play in vanilla.
Let's see what the Master Sword Cave has, and ouch.
Yeah, I'm starting to think if this Vanilla 6 cave doesn't have the sword, that it is going to be a Death Mountain sword. I was preoccupied getting set up early, but from what I can tell, that seems to be the call now.
Oh, 1 for the bombs. Interesting.
Yep, she was just short of being able to purchase the blue ring, and she's also got a red potion in hand. So I can't blame her for wanting to try and fill up on bombs in the event that she has to go up to Death Mountain now and find the wood sword. It'll allow her to open some of the caves on the way. Yep, both runners now have the ladder as RadioRichG made his way to the grave, Armos. And now Tetra has a candle, so she can open up a large percentage of the caves in the overworld now. She's just missing a couple of push block spots, a couple of raft spots, and a flute spot.
Went for the wrap, unfortunately just missed it. Very nice wrap that time.
Looks like level 3 is up on the top of the stairway to Eastern Death Mountain. So she's probably going to go ahead and peek just to the west of it and make sure that this isn't the Woodsword Cave. And in fact it is. Eastern Death Mountain, the open cave, has the Woodsword of the Seed.
And there goes Tetra picking up the sword. So now we've got a race going now. They can defend themselves and start routing through dungeons, and we should start seeing some pretty good action.
Yep. Unfortunately for RadioRichG, couldn't generate a bomb drop, so he's not going to find level 3 as early as Tetra is getting into level 3. So she may have an advantage depending on whether or not this item is easy to pick up. And the bad news for Tetraly is that the manhandle in this case is the faster pattern. The good news is it's not a heavy hit point manhandle, although the hands are falling off with just one bomb.
Ouch.
Looks like she's going to have to give up on that room now that she's down to 0 bombs again. But there are some other options, and I don't think it's a guarantee that that push block room is the actual item.
Oh, and a level 7 find by Radio.
Yep, it's not necessarily the dungeon you want to dig early either, but some of these races have had silvers or bows in level 7, and the person that digs level 7 early may or may not have an advantage if they kind of go out of their way and dig through the 30 to 33 rooms that it has.
Nice heart container pickup by Tetra.
Let's see if he knows that he can actually give up his heart. Yep, he just found out that he can, so... It's a little bit interesting they didn't decide to just go ahead and up and A right then there, but you never know, maybe you'll find a fairy. As Tetra has found the item in 3, it is the white sword. So
that'll make things much easier.
Yep, just 2 minutes after finding the wood sword, she has basically doubled her damage. The other good thing that she found was the compass. So she has the heart, she has the white sword, she has the compass. And there aren't any key blocks until... Nope, no key blocks on the way to the compass. So she may be able to make quick work of this 3.
Finding ladder early on is also going to help them clear these dungeons, so they won't be ladder locked for anything.
Yep, the only issue that one or both runners may run into is enemies that require the bow, such as the Goma.
Very nice Triforce pickup for Tetra.
And also the Dig Dogger will require the flute. So there's a couple of potential blocks in some of the bigger dungeons that are more likely to have those. But for the most part, they should be able to get through every dungeon they see. So it looks like Tetra's going to make her way down towards level 2, but while checking some of the burn bushes on Candle Row, and stumbles upon level 1, so she's definitely going to divert into there.
This should be a very quick dive for the item as well, hopefully.
Yep, in level 1 there's going to be one floor item that may or may not be standing on the floor or require... Ooh.
Ouch.
Yeah, this time she's just gonna go ahead and bite the bullet and stab the owl on the way out. But there's gonna be one either standing or dropping on the floor, and there's also gonna be one in a traditional staircase. And it's a Wizrobe. It's a Wizrobe dungeon, too, so that's always fun.
Yeah, doing this with a wood sword would not be that fun.
Speaking of not fun, RadioRichG is still in level 2. Having to fight these Poles voice with a wood sword is equally unfun.
Being at a half a heart while fighting these is not fun either, because he has to play extremely defensively. And ouch.
Yeah, they're a little difficult to fight from the top because of things like that. Whenever they jump and you're standing above them, it's gonna hurt. And I could be wrong based on the sprites, but it does look like Wizrobes and Dark Nuts are together.
Not exactly the greatest pairing for the runners.
And bringing back the point I made earlier, she is now key blocked out of 1 with the exception of the... I don't know if she's gone right yet, but... Level 1, you almost always have to have a key to actually get anywhere in the dungeon.
And RadioRichG finding the Dorito in level 2. Nice.
Yep, he hasn't found the item yet. Wondering if he'll think about going back in.
Looks like he's diving for the item as well.
And if you see what Tetra's doing, she's standing next to the key door. She's hoping the Wizrobe will spawn next to her, but this is going to be tough to get the Wizrobe to cooperate. I think her best bet is to try and drop a bomb on him and then run back to the door. Yeah, unfortunately cannot pull off the Kaneki as she's not quite close enough to the door.
Good decision for that up A, in my opinion, right there.
Yeah, as I said, bomb's probably the only way that she's going to be able to pull that off, but it's still not the easiest of tricks to pull off in that kind of room. I would think she's hoping to find a key shop somewhere around here. She'll burn the key even if it's expensive.
Radio's really struggling in that room. A lot of action going on there. And rewarded with 5 rupees, so that's gotta hurt.
And Tetra has found the key shop. Not surprised that she went ahead and picked up the key.
A little pricey, too.
Yeah, but 74 is not bad, especially if it opens up a big item.
Manhandle is just racking up the kills today.
Interested to see where Tetra decides to go next. Is she just going to take this warp zone back towards level 1, or is she going to choose a different direction?
Well, at this point,
looks like she's opting towards a different direction.
oh, hello, level 8.
Level 8 will have 2 staircase items and will likely have a lot of bosses as well.
The only trouble I foresee is being whistle locked in this dungeon.
And right on time as you say that, hello, Goma.
Yep.
The game knows. That's what you're going to learn about this one is, well, whenever you say something, the game will just say, hey, remember me?
Very good choice on using bombs here.
Ooh, it looks like we have red dark nuts rolled down.
Ouch.
Now that she knows that,
seems to be nice.
now that she knows they're -2 on the red dark nuts, she's probably going to attempt to clear this room with fewer bombs.
Looks like she's going for a bombless. Oh, we found the meat. Very nice.
Yep, we haven't found the meat block yet. May come in handy to have that later. Alright, let's see what we have here. Of course, it's the transport staircase in 8 first.
Oh, hello, Goma.
As our tracker has noted, it looks like the red Wizrobes have gone up in health for this seed.
So it makes that white sword all the more crucial.
Yep, until RadioRichG rolls into one of these Wizrobe dungeons, we're not going to know if they're +1 or +2. And this should be an item, and it is the red candle. Would not have known had she not thrown the blue candle into her BA slot, so thank you to Tetraly for that.
I really do like the palette that Tetra's using, however. It's just, yeah, it's definitely a little bit confusing if you haven't seen it. And those heart pickups are coming just perfectly on time for Tetra.
Early on, this looks like it's going to be one of those seeds that you need to preserve keys. There are quite a few key doors that Tetra's passing up at 8, and quite a few that blocked her path in 1.
The any key might actually decide this if one of them finds it. Lots of dark neck action for Tetra, unfortunately.
Yep, I'm not sure that she bombed down in that room yet, so she has a chance to do that if she decides to. It may have the Goma, that is true. So she's picked the door to use her key on, and it has a room of turrets and blue dark nuts. And unfortunately, she walks through a shutter door and is greeted by the blue Wizrobes, who say no.
Brady looks to be having fun with his darkness selection as well.
And he gets a more timely clock than the last time, so that'll get him out of the room and into the red Wizrobe room.
Tetra paying a small penalty for breaking their door in.
Looks like red Lionels aren't too bad on the HP roll either.
Yeah, it does seem like they're going down quite nicely.
She has the white sword and all, but they definitely didn't roll too far up the ladder.
Hard container pickup for Rich. I bet that makes him feel a little bit better.
White sword was the item in 3, yes. To answer that question from chat. We found that and the red candle in 8 so far, and otherwise everything we found is on the overworld.
Level 8 is not being kind to Radio Rich right now. And he likes to take off, it seems. Options are slowly winding down where they're going to find those arrows on that bow.
Well, looks like she tried to plant the bomb there, but got the potion off instead. It's not going to be that big of a penalty to her, though, because the blue potion price is sitting at 28, so it rolled low. And at least she was blinking in hearts too as well, so sometimes when I hit that button on accident, I've already got full life, and it's really a facepalm. In this case, it allows her to move around with a little less caution.
And we got a level 1 dive by Radio Rich, it looks like.
Yep, he's likely to find a heart container, and not much else that's easily accessible in that dungeon, given he doesn't have any keys either.
Well, the hearts at this point, in my opinion, probably a very nice thing for him, because he's been hugging on almost none for this whole seed.
Yeah, he finds out the bad news that once again the old man is taking away your hearts or your keys and not actually giving you a pre-book community hint. And for those that aren't familiar with this flag set for the Swiss tournament, it's a 5 Triforce Force Ganon plus or minus 2 enemy HP rolled seed. In addition, the book, which normally just says, hey, your wand has fire spitting out of it that you can burn yourself with, will also turn all of your hint shops into productive, helpful hints instead of the same community hint.
Hey, it's nice seeing the book getting some love in this tournament.
Hey, the book won me my race, so I'm not going to complain about the setting at this point. And Rich unfortunately finds out that, just like level 8, level 1 has some Wizroot waiting for him, so...
Well, at least it's one of the smaller dungeons, so not as much action with them.
Looks like Tetra's prepared to give up her heart container at this point to see what's in level 2. Probably hoping that it's one of the bow, silvers, or quite honestly, red ring in her case would be great right about now. Because it would take some of the bite out of some of these heavy combat rooms.
Been an interesting seed considering they had a heck of a time finding just something to fight with initially, and now it's so combat heavy with pretty much almost no hearts.
And based on what I saw from Radio Rich's set, it looks like Red Wizrobes did roll +2. Just because he got 2 hits off, then 3 hits off, and then 1 hit off. And we know they're not 4, so if the 1 hit at the end got them, it would probably be 6 and only 6 that could have been.
Radio's definitely hanging on there in that room quite well so far.
It's just not that fun of a room when you have Wood Sword. It's plus 2 HP red Wizrobes.
Especially considering he only has bombs as a secondary right now.
Yep, that candle won't do him much good, so it's just a Wood Sword, a couple of bombs, and a dream.
Surprising to me that Tetra went for those 5 rupees considering the risk. Radio being very conservative with his bombs here. Oh, and Tetra has found the Triforce piece.
Yep, she's still looking for the item, which can be in the room she's in now, so she's going to have to clear it to make sure. I think it typically spawns in the top right corner if this is the room that spawns an item. And seeing as we've just been raided by the Randomizer channel, probably a good time to point out where some of our items were for the seed. In level number 3, the White Sword was obtained by Tetraly, and in level 8, the Red Candle was obtained. The Armos was the ladder, and the Coast ladder spot had the Vanilla Heart container.
Where was Wood Sword again?
And Wood Sword was up on Death Mountain in the open cave in Eastern Death Mountain.
These blue dark nuts are not being kind to Radio right now. They're refusing to bunch up all.
Yep, with all the required Leave Your Heart rooms so far, Mags probably is not going to be easily accessible in this seed, so he's going to have to hope to find his way up to Eastern Death Mountain at some point, in hopes of finding level 3 and the White Sword that it contains.
Well, that compass isn't very helpful now, is it? The seed's been very resistant to give up anything to the runners.
Yep, about the only thing I've seen it give up is it's refunded their heart container. As RadioRichG finds the power bracelet in the staircase in level 1. And given how we're missing a few levels still, including level 9, that may be required.
Oh, there we go. Now we know where the Triforce piece is in level 1.
Yep, I remember the dark nuts being on the way over there. I don't quite remember what was in that room.
And he's going to have to go through the whiz robes to get there.
So with all the heavy combat and some of the dungeons that you would prefer to dig, it looks like Tetra's going to make the level 7 play. Unfortunately, it's still got the same set as level 2.
Yeah, all the dungeons they've been electing to dive, unfortunately, have had some of the worst enemy sets they could have asked for. Rich bringing his key to get the piece. Very nice.
Oh, it's just a nice and easy chip room. It's not bad at all.
And level 7 is not being kind to Tetra there.
I'd say the key of this seed, as it stands now, is probably the bow itself, more than the silvers. Once you find that, it's going to increase your speed in one of the 2 predominant enemy sets in dungeons considerably.
Considering they haven't found wand or anything else to help at all, really. Well, Tetra does have the red candle, but that's really not extremely useful.
Yep, it's an interesting strategy as to whether or not you take the transport staircase level 7 or if you just try and explore it naturally through the pathing.
Well, looks like Tetra's electing for the staircase.
I do think that's the right play because it will eliminate the second of 3 potential staircases in level 7. So now you know that whatever staircase you find next in level 7 will have your item.
Elected not to go through the door. Interesting.
She really wants to preserve her keys. I think you have to bite the bullet and go ahead and fight the pulse voice from the side in the other room that she was just in. The chances of that having a drop are at least relatively high, and if it's a key, it can help you navigate level 7 a little bit easier.
And she elects to leave.
Yeah, both runners are going to be feeling a little bit of pressure at this point because some of the racers so far in the Swiss bracket have finished with times in like the 30 to 50 minute range. And while they may not expect that to happen every time, you do start to wonder once we hit the hour mark whether or not you're well behind or not. Yeah, if there's an item that's not the bow that they're trying to find right now, and maybe not the red ring, it would probably be the magic key or any key next.
Considering how the seat's been going, I'm just waiting for a raft lock at this point.
Raft block with 9 having the raft and forcing you to go in and then go to the raft spot to find your silvers.
That would just be devious.
Well, hey, you're the one that brought the raft block up. I just went the extra mile. Yeah, she's just not getting the red whiz robe to play nice in that room.
I will say I love the tenacity of both runners, though. They're not just giving up on deaths, they're actually continuing trying to make progress in each dungeon.
Yep, the one area we haven't seen of the overworld so far that could contain the white sword item or some extra dungeons is Death Mountain. We have only seen Eastern Death Mountain so far. There's still at least, I want to say, 7 caves left, maybe 8 caves left on Death Mountain that neither runner has checked.
Oh, there's the magic sword.
Yep, it's just a nice, shiny, pointy thing right now that you can't get. And it's going to be hard for them to pick up, given both have already paid 2 hearts to the old man to get through parts of level 1 and 2. And it's max rolled, too. 6 hearts required for the raft.
This seed has not been a give me on anything so far at all.
That is a fetch quest raft, by the way. And what I mean by that is it's at the power bracelet spot. So you need the power bracelet out of 1 to get the raft. So if the raft is required, that's going to give RadioRichG a significant advantage over Tetraly. That is a big if at this point, because we still have quite a few open caves, power bracelet spots, and loot spots left to check. But it could happen.
One advantage the Tetra does have over radio right now, though, is the rupee count, which allows her to buy potions, any other bombs, etc. Or even more keys if she elected.
And while we have both runners scouting out Western Death Mountain, we'll go ahead and take the opportunity to thank Captain Green, aka Fury number 2, for restreaming this for us on Randomania 3, as well as Gary and Old Wolf tracking for us.
And radio gets that 6th heart, so this might be the start of something. At least the Dora penalty this time seems to be quite low as well.
Yep, it's certainly not a hindrance with how much money you can get from the secrets that you find on the overworld.
And she elects to go to level 6.
Yep, I'll defer to my tracker on this one, but I believe the only spots we have remaining are the coast... Oh no, the coast bomb spots I think have already been checked too. So that would leave mostly power bracelet, loot, and raft spots, would it not, for some of these dungeons, including level 9?
Seems like it, and there's the raft for radio. Yeah, I believe Garen's right. Power bracelet, raft, recorder, and part of Deadwoods.
I know they've checked the bomb spot in Deadwoods. I'm not sure if they've checked all the berm bushes in there or not.
I think they've checked a handful, but I don't think they've got them all yet.
I would say it's certainly likely at this point that at least one of our dungeons is going to be under a block of some sort, though. Whether or not that actually comes into play or not, we'll have to find out as these two runners progress through some of the dungeons and look for some of the items. The coast item was the vanilla heart container, to answer that question from chat. RadioRichG does not know it yet, but he is going to stumble upon level 3 here very shortly. And it's going to improve his ability to clear some of these dungeons significantly if he finds the item.
And Tetra runs that right into a not-so-nice room. Nice kill there by Radio. Vents his frustration on the block.
I'm trying to remember the laws of the game here, because some of the rules affect what can actually be the item in some of these dungeons. I think the push block can still be the item in level 3, but in this case was not.
And Tetra picks up the blue ring, which will help a lot. And she looks to dive into level 1 again.
So it looks like the third enemy set is the one that's in level 3. That has one of the rare Stalfos and Gibdos groupings that we've seen. It looks like Pull's Voice are the ones that jump across enemy sets.
This has been a very dark and heavy seed too for a lot of key items that we need to get. Double clock there for Radio. Hey, we're finally seeing spike traps in the dungeons.
He's so tired of the Pull's Voice that he's saying, "Please, traps, take my health." Just not those guys anymore.
Oh, and the white sword pickup for Radio.
Yep, you'd have to put Radio just a little bit ahead at this point. Just because he has the power bracelet already out of 1. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see what the floor item in level 1 is.
I mean, it'd be nice if it's arrows or bow, but hey, if it's any key, that would open up a lot.
Yeah, it's just the knowledge people are going to be looking for right now. We don't have that many dungeon items that we found between the two runners yet, and they're just trying to figure out, is the item here or is it not, so I can go somewhere else. Tetra's now going to even up the majority of this race with the power bracelet find. She'll just have to find the raft to have it perfectly even. And I say that with it being a 2-to-1 Triforce edge, but she knows exactly where the Triforce in level 2 is, and it won't take long to get to.
Oh, and Triforce find level 3 by Radio. Very nice. Looks like Tetra's electing to go get that Triforce piece here on level 1.
Yep, it's either that or she's going to have to combat through the blue dark nuts or blue whiz robes in the southern part of the dungeon in order to find the potential item. I remember you saying something about the last enemy has the clock.
Well, that's the way it normally works, isn't it? Always the clock on the last drop. And level 1 Triforce piece to Tetra.
She just can't decide whether or not she wants to go back in and clear one of the difficult rooms or just move along. It looks like she's going to opt out of level 1.
Well, I mean, considering it's a fast dungeon, but like you said, hard enemies, it's kind of a hard choice.
Yep, it's one of those seeds where you kind of have to know some of the tricks involved in the randomizer and in Zelda 1 in general. As we find, level 5 is one of the power bracelet spots on the map, so White Sword and a dungeon so far under power bracelet spots.
At this base, I'm wondering if level 9's hidden in the raft spot. Tetra putting that white sword to great use in this dungeon so far. Seems like level 5 enemy sets aren't too bad.
Certainly not the enemies that she's fought so far.
White Sword's definitely been helping both runners out quite a bit now since they both picked it up.
It looks like she doesn't have too many options in level 5 as we see RadioRichG taking a death in 8. So she's going to opt into that staircase, and it does get her to the other side of the dungeon, which she found out after the bomb spot didn't work on the wall.
Tetra's now starting to rack up those keys, which is going to open up a lot of options for her.
So it looks like we have plus HP Zols, which were the little slime-looking guys, and minus 2 HP on the Vire.
Yeah, it seemed to be like that. Oh, nice. Triforce piece. Yeah, that ladder clip wasn't a glitch.
And that room had a compass, which is pretty much useless, and she's not going to go through the bunnies to get it. And I think the runners are probably beginning to wonder if this is in fact the right seed. And she may not like it, but she's gonna have to start burning some keys, I think, to find some more answers to what the items could be in this set of dungeons that she's in. Because we're still missing the item out of 1, 2, 1 item out of 8, the item out of 5, the item out of 6, the item out of 7. Still haven't found 4, still haven't found 9. So it's getting to that point where it's just time to turn and burn through the keys and hope for the best. And unfortunately, she can't bomb in either. Not sure if this is the only way left that she has. I think she has some rooms up in the north, but might as well go ahead and see what's in here and then take the Triforce if it is in fact in the north.
Oh, wow.
And goodbye to the Dig Dogger.
And a red candle pickup.
Yep, RadioRichG has found his red candle. So these runners are just pretty much even outside of that one power bracelet blocked raft. And the bunnies may look cute at first, but I'm pretty sure Tetra's tired of seeing them at this point. This is probably the item room.
Considering they're also buffed up, doesn't make matters any easier.
Yep, either 11 or 12. So what will we find in level 5? That looks like a silver arrow, so that is one of the key items that she'll need to complete the seed. And Radio, right after Tetra gets out of level 5, finds level 5 for himself, so it's probable that both runners will, in fact, find the silvers before they exit level 5, given that it is in the smaller set of dungeons still.
And Tetra evens up the hearts.
So we have the PB spot left up in the Lost Hills as the only remaining spot. At least as far as Tetra can look, that isn't in fact the raft that's in the grave, though. Pretty soon we're going to find out if the raft and or flute is potentially required.
Ouch, for RadioRichG dying to the bunnies there in 5. Very nice screen wrap there by Tetra. Oh, and hello, level 4.
So, it is looking like your prediction was correct on level 9. It's at about a 66% chance now that we have a raft block level 9.
Not a nice room to be strapped in with dark nuts. This is going to be a very hard ladder clip.
Yeah, unfortunately taking a death there to the Wizrood.
Level 4 seems to be the nastiest dungeon so far.
Yep, you can pick your dungeons a little bit, but it's... Eventually you've got to tackle one of these difficult dungeons. I'm not sure how well the strat will work for that room, but typically I try and sit in the doorway and force them to kind of poke their head out and kind of sit right there on the water. I know in an NSU room they can park themselves in the water, but I'm not sure about the T room and the logic there. But if they manage to go, yeah, if they manage to go out just 1 or 2 tiles from the door, it makes it easier for you to go ahead and take care of 2 or 3 of them at the same time. And if she gets it down to 1 Wizrobe, she would have been able to clip the room. Thankfully for her, there was a way around it.
And runs into a double boss situation.
Despite all those heart penalties early on, Tetra's almost back to the point where she can get a potential max check-in for more damage. And she's found the item in level 4. Let's see what it is.
Oh, inferior model.
I'll pretend I didn't hear that, and we have the magic boomerang in level 4. Another issue with this level 4 is it's taking her key count back down on top of being a Wizrood / Dark Nut dungeon.
Oh, that's actually a very nice pickup for her right there.
It's gonna be bad news bears though. That's the blue Dark Nut room, is it not?
You'd be correct.
I guess it's not 8 blue Wizrobes, but it's still going to be a bit of a battle to get through all these.
Tetra's just going right through them.
The good news in this situation for Tetra is that she's only got 1 spot left on the overworld she can check. And it's going to open up the 2 raft spots when she goes over to check it. So, while it may seem like she's in a bit of a bad spot without having the raft, I don't think it's going to affect things long term for her.
Keys have been very thin this seed. Radio's still looking for that item in 5.
Yep, we know, unfortunately, that he's on the wrong side of the dungeon to find that item. Question is, will he burn a key down here to find more key-blocked areas? And the answer is yes. And then will he check the northern part of level 5 and hope that the item is actually up there, which it is.
Yes, red ring is in play still, same with the bow and the book.
Yep, I suppose this is good enough time as any to go ahead and item rundown again. Level 1 had the power bracelet, and we don't know what the second item is in there because the rooms are quite rude. Level 2 we don't know what the item is because of the same circumstance. Level 3 had the white sword. Level 4 had the magic boomerang. Level 5 had the silver arrows. We don't know the item in 6 or 7, as both are filled with dark nuts and blue whiz robes, as I recall. Level 8 has a red candle, and we don't know the second item in 8. And we haven't found level 9, although Tetra is about to get to the point where she can enter it should she pick up the Triforce. Then the white sword item is the raft, which may be required given we haven't found level 9. There's only 3 spots left. The Armos item is the ladder, which allowed you to get the vanilla heart container on the coast. And yes, the item in level 2 is still here, but I don't think it's this room. I believe I saw one of the 2 runners clean it up earlier.
Hey, a key right now, though, is nice.
Yep, she needs to get up to 6 or 7 keys so that she can find the any key in 2.
This race has been very close, though, since the beginning.
Yep, this is still anyone's race to be had. This reverse C can have a drop in the middle, so I would expect this to potentially be the item. As RadioRichG gets his Triforce out of 5, and now he's just 1 away from being qualified to enter level 9 once he finds it.
And we're finally getting to see the red candle being used.
Yep, I believe it's pointing to max roll Lugarias as well.
Well, hello, Wand.
But I thought it was a useless cane. So she is using a Link to the Past sprites.
And there's 5 for Tetra.
Yep, and RadioRich is about to get one of the 2 remaining items he needs to complete the seed. With the potential for the 3rd item still being required out there, the flute.
I'm actually interested now if Radio's going to go for the raft spots yet, or go dive into existing dungeons.
I kind of expect him to look at the power bracelet spots still, just to make sure there isn't anything else underneath them. But I don't think he has quite as much of the overworld explored as Tetra does. And I am kind of being presumptuous at this point, because there were a couple of people that thought we didn't have Dead Woods explored, but given that Tetraly's ignoring that for now, she seems to have decent enough knowledge that the items that or the dungeon she's looking for is not there yet.
And she picks up the raft.
Now that she has 8 bombs, I believe she has one more spot she can check over here in West Death Mountain. RadioRichG is looking for the item in 2 still. I think he'll be slightly disappointed, but not entirely disappointed that it is the wand.
Wand damage rolls are also randomized, correct?
The wand does standard damage. I believe it is 2 damage per hit, and you can couple it with your white sword and strike an enemy with both at the same time to get 4 out of it.
Well, first raft spot, no joy.
Yep, we just have 1 raft spot left to check. I think she's going to take the warp zone to get there quicker. And if it's not this raft spot, then our tracker, Garion Wolf, is not going to get what he wants out of level 9. As the recorder cannot be blocked by being its own dungeon unless the game is broken. Alright, let's see what we have here. Do we require a recorder for the seed? The answer? Yes, we require the recorder to actually get into level 9. You don't require the white sword item on the raft to get into any of the levels, but you required both power bracelet and recorder.
This has been a lot of hide and seek for the items this time.
Yep, she's making probably the smartest play you can make, which is to go back to level 1 with the nearly full complement of bombs and go try and clear out the blue Wizrobe room and the Dark Nut room at the bottom.
Not a very nice room for the Wizrobes either. Radio's still searching level 2 there, trying to find that item.
Yep. Given how cheap the potions are this seed, the blue ones, I don't blame Tetra at all for burning one in this room. It's now 1 hour and 25 minutes into the seed. You've got to start locating your items and getting into level 9 already, because you're potentially mere seconds away from a loss, because you don't know where your opponent's at.
At this point, I would definitely be racking my nerves, wondering if, have they finished, or are they just behind?
It's amazing when the most frustrating enemy in the room that you're in does no damage to you.
But yet you can't kill anything either because they're just so tanky. Well, hello, Patra.
Yeah, chat's kind of trying to figure out who's ahead. I would have to agree. I think Tetra's slightly ahead, but it's only just. Both of these runners could easily pull out the victory here.
Lots of bad room combinations too for Wizrobes and Darknuts to see as well.
Yeah. Now, fortunately, this is, I believe, the room that's going up towards the power bracelet. This had a pack of bombs in it about an hour ago, so should be disappointed by the outcome of clearing this room.
That seems like she might have cleared it before.
Yeah, it was just a standing item before, unfortunately. I am going to go out on a limb and guess it's I think it was the 6 blue Wizrobe room that I saw down there in the bottom left corner of this dungeon. Well, we're going to have a chance at an item in this room. Will it be here? Will it be to the right? Or will it be the blue Wizrobe room?
Hey, at least it's an easy clear with the enemies in this room as well. Probably a break from the Darknuts and Wizrobes.
And we know it's not going to be this room because the key's there. So that leaves blue Wizrobes.
And was rewarded with the boomerang for his efforts.
6 blue Wizrobes is what stands in our way of knowing what the floor item in level 1 is. This is one of those situations where it's a good idea to learn this right side door strat. You can kind of duck in and out of the door that she's trying to stand in now. She's not quite deep enough. You can go pretty far back of the door, almost to the point where your sprite disappears in that doorway, and the Wizrobes can't get to you. So if you hide back there and kind of wait for them to go away from you, you can kind of catch them as they come back your direction over those blocks and get bombs off that way.
I'm curious if she makes it, if she's going to burn that potion in that room. Oh, and she elects to leave. Bombs are also quite cheap this seed as well.
Yep, that's one of the few positives in this seed so far, is you don't have anything that's overly expensive.
Looks like Tetra really wants to know what this item is.
Given what we know, the item, one of the two items she's looking for has to be in 1, 6, or the second item in 8. She also has 7 on the board. RadioRichG does not.
If my memory serves, though, 8 seems to be Gulma locked without the bow, so...
Yeah. It's hard to say, because I thought she had one more spot that she could check. With the bombs, at least. And she also had no keys when she was in there. So I don't know if any key doors stood in her way either. But we'll find out one way or the other pretty soon, I think.
She made the right choice, in my opinion, by burning that potion just to get through this room at this point. Just tanking it.
It's only going to do 1 heart of damage to her, so she... Oop. Yeah, now she's going to go ahead and reset the room. Not the worst strategy in the world.
And Radio picks up a nice heart.
That is the ocarina, is it not? What is that?
Yeah, that's the flute.
I don't know why she's bombing that. I think that's the key to getting into level 9. Don't break the recorder, you'll never get through the seed.
This has been a lot of re-diving into dungeons for a seed as well.
Now, I'm not surprised to see her go to the fairy fountain on the way to the flute spot, which we are assuming is level 9 at this point. I don't think there's that many spots left to check.
Also curious if she'll elect to pick up some potions before going in. And she does.
Yep, that is what she's doing.
At this point, I can see taking the time just to pick up these potions just to save a little bit of time while exploring 9.
Yeah, it's one of those catch-22 moments where she doesn't know that her opponent is behind her. For all she knows, Rich is already in 9 with all the items he needs looking for the girl.
Let's see if this is level 9. Oh, yep. Here we go. I've not heard Ganon yet. Oh, a map find for Tetra, but too bad it doesn't really help much in 9.
It's hard to say how much is help at this point, because depending on how much the seed's beating you up, sometimes your mind kind of wanders and you don't quite consider some of the potential bomb spots.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised they're both quite stressed.
And the strategy it looks like that we're going to see from Tetra is to go ahead and take the staircases on like 2 staircases at once.
Looks like Radio's elected to dive into level 7. If the bow is indeed in here, though, this could be where everything turns around.
Yep, it's certainly possible if the bow is in there. The only issue he'll have is he'll still need to dive level 1 for the Wizard rune that contains his flute. And this level 9 is also being quite stubborn with the bomb holes. It's really forcing your route to go a certain direction.
Yeah, he's looking for any way he can get around with bombs right now, and 7's just not giving it to him.
And he had to use his last key as well, and he's in another block because he doesn't have the flute. Man, what a rude level 7.
Well, 8 and 7 are being extremely rude today. Patra's not being very nice today either.
Yeah, but you know what? In a seed like this, where all we've seen is dark nuts and whiz robes, I'd actually settle for the Patra.
Yeah, considering some of the rooms were, what, 7, 8 dark nuts? With turrets? Oh, well,
That is not what she's looking for in level 9, though. Now we're down to a smaller percentage chance that the bow's actually in here. Can't complain about the indie key, but definitely not what she wanted.
That would have been helpful at the start.
And she knows the general location of the pig at this point. Knows that the pig is either one spot up from the room she's in or one spot to the left.
That knowledge could be crucial later on as well. Especially if she finds the bow in here. If not, oh boy. Looks like Radio's having a little bit of fun there with the staff was. quite interested in what the second item of 9 is going to be. There's not very many possibilities at this point. I'm gonna call book.
Well, that'd be quite rude.
Oh, Radio looks like he's exploring level 4 again.
Yep, he's gonna find out the hard way that the boomerang is actually the item in level 4. It's not the one that he's looking for. Looks like Tetra, meanwhile, is having to leave level 9 to go find some bombs.
No bomb upgrades this run is also kind of unusual. I don't think we've seen a single bomb upgrade yet.
Yeah, I think one of them at this point is probably in level 7, given we've explored a lot of levels. Well, we've got the 2 old men and from level 1 and level 2. We've seen both the old men in level 5. Maybe in 3? 3 and 7, something like that. Maybe 3 and 8.
Another life refill for Tetra, which doesn't really surprise considering how close it is to level 9. I was waiting for Tetra to sword that owl. Tetra's still looking for that item in 9. Radio looks like they're doing as well for level 4.
So what do we got left here? We've got red ring, bow, book, and one more item I want to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure because, I mean, we've already seen both boomerangs, of course. We've seen the silver arrows. We have not seen the bow. No red ring, no book.
Nope, we're only missing items out of 7, 8, and 9. Just one in each, so it's... Yep.
She really wants that block to move.
Well, more importantly, that is Zelda's room now, since that block didn't move.
Even if the bow's not here in 9, Tetra's got some crucial information now.
And an
Ouch.
unfortunate death. And RadioRichG finds... well, not really what he was looking for. And I think he's going to go from bad news to worse once he goes through... well, actually, he can't go through the key doors, but... had he been able to, he would have found his way to the compass, which would have told him to go all the way back up to the blue Dark Nut room.
There hasn't been a single give me at all in this seed to the runners.
Nope, this seed had enough money for a blue ring and a decent enough white sword to get, but then just left you out to dry on your magic key until you got to 9.
I believe Tetra's explored all the stairwells at this point.
Well, if you count each staircase as just its own individual staircase, there should be 14 in level 9. You have 12 of them that pair up into 6 staircases and 2 item staircases. So I think she's accomplished at least 4 of the transport staircases and 1 item staircase.
I mean, having the any key here is also helping her because she's got more options now to get around.
And RadioRichG made the correct decision to clear the blue Dark Nut room, so now he has the 5 Triforces needed to enter 9. He just needs to get back to 1 at minimum to get to level 9, which has the flute.
Oh, and he gets the paper.
He definitely has enough money to buy a couple of keys and a couple of potions if he desires.
Well, considering he has the blue ring, I don't see any reason for him not to if he runs across the shop.
Yeah, I would be stunned if he didn't buy keys at this point. There's not a whole lot else he can use his money for, given he still hasn't found the book.
Right now, it just seems whoever finds the bow first is going to gain the lead and the advantage.
Well, if the bow is not in level 9, which we might find out shortly... nope, one of the last transport staircases. If the bow is not in 9, it's anybody's race. If the bow is in 9 at this point, I would say it's Tetra... yeah, it would be Tetraly's race to lose at that point.
Going for the Patrick kill or Death Ward? Death Ward. Well, this has been quite the race to kick off the night of races in the Zelda 1 Randomizer tournament. We also have 3 more races about to start up in case you were interested in looking for some more races after this one concludes. On Speed Gaming 2, we'll have Dark Magician 1184 versus Amazing Toaster. On Speed Gaming 4, we have Chrono JJ versus Killer App 23. And on Randomania 2, just one step down from where you're at now on Randomania 3, you're going to have Paratrooper 1 and Southern Pretzel fighting it out. I'm actually surprised Radio didn't go for that key. That looks like he's electing for it now.
Yeah, it's the more expensive of the keys. The other one's in the 70s, but you really need to have at least one going into whatever dungeon you choose to dive at this point.
I'm surprised he went for the red potion there.
Yes and no. You know you're in a time crunch at this point if you're RadioRichG. Doesn't matter who you're racing against, you're now an hour and 50 minutes into your race. You know it could be a dot done at any moment. So you just... It's now or never, gotta get a potion, gotta go. Gotta go fast.
Cash or rupees in the seat have not really been a problem either with all the secrets. They've been paying out pretty decently. Look, was what, 33 on the low end, 111 or 113 on the high?
Yeah, it's lots and lots of rupees in this one.
RadioRichG has not found 9 yet. And Tetraly likes to use the potion. If the bow's not here in 9, I got a funny feeling it's probably going to be hidden in 7.
Well, you'd be in a 50% chance to get it right.
Oh, Garen's right, 6. 7 was wood boomerang, that's right. Tetra's really wanting to go towards the west, but it's just not letting her. Oh, there we go.
Yep, her problem's going to be that she's now out of bombs again, so she's at the mercy of level 9 to give her another bomb drop.
And considering how the seeds went so far, I don't think that's going to work too well. And like Chat was pointing out, it looks like Rich is rechecking a lot of his caves, thinking he might have missed something. Oh, there's the bow and 9.
Oh, the seed has mercy on Tetraly, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Tetraly knows exactly where Ganon is, hopefully.
I would think so. It looked like she had full coverage at level 9. Game basically forcing a near 100% situation.
Yeah, this seed has not been kind whatsoever to either runner. Rich still diving 6 quite well. At this point, it has to be red ring or book if he goes for the item.
That's a nice scans right there.
Couldn't ask for a nicer Ganon room there. Ouch.
Yeah, could do without the hook though. Well, at this point, she doesn't know it, but this is going to lead her to, at this point, what I consider to be a certain victory once she clears Ganon, so give it another try with the potion and see what happens.
The seed didn't really give him very many good opportunities to take a different route either. It seems like it was very linear. Very nice save with the potion there by Tetra. Oh no. Looks like Tetra's electing to go get some more potions, looks like. Radio still seems to be trying to clear 6, trying to find that item. Well, there's a reward with the heart container. I know the seed's been nerve-wracking on the runners, but for me personally, this has been a very entertaining seed to watch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of words we get out of Tetraly when she manages to take down the pig. And it might be equally entertaining to see what RadioRichG has to say, should he finish up behind her and decide to come in for a quick interview.
Well, and there's the red ring and 6.
So with that, we know all the items, I believe. I'll attempt to recount everything that's happened in the last 2 hours here. Level 1 had the flute required for 9. It also had another item, I'm trying to remember, power bracelet. There we go. Just took me a minute. Wand was in level 2. White sword was in level 3. Magic boomerang in level 4. Level 5. Again, just bear with me, I'm trying to remember everything we had. Silver arrows was in 5. 6, we just saw it, was the red ring. 7 had the regular boomerang. 8 had the book and the red candle. Level 9 had the bow. And the other item was... it was in a key. And she did finish it. So now all she needs to do is walk up the right side of the map and she'll be able to finish the seed. To finish off the item recap, ladder was under the Armos, white sword was the raft, coast item was the vanilla heart container.
Radio looks to be in a small bind here, but looks like he's getting out of it. This was a very convoluted 9 as well. Looks like Radio's elected to dive level 8 for the item as well. And Tetra has finished with a time of 2:02:27.
Get your GGs out for Tetraly. We'll see if she's interested in coming in for the interview or if she's just had enough of the seat altogether. Yeah, it looks like RadioRich may have had enough of the sea. It looks like we did have the race room go complete, which would indicate a forfeit.
Well, it's like I was saying yesterday to some people, you know, these races isn't really person on person. It's more of you against the game, especially with Rando.
And I heard a pair of dings come in, so we may have had both racers join us. Yep, it looks like Tetraly's mic is live. GG, Tetraly.
Oh, sorry, had some push-to-talk issues. Yeah, GG. So first I have to ask, because I said this repeatedly as I was playing, what the expletive deleted was this seed?
It was a nice, long, combat-intensive fetch quest sort of 100% seed.
Yeah, that's for sure. Definitely one of the harder ones I've ever played.
I'm not sure how you felt going through this race as to whether or not you were ahead or behind, but to recap what happened early on, I think you had quite a bit of a lead as you found level 3 first. RadioRichG did not. He did not have the bomb to go into level 3. And so that sets you up for about a 5 to 6 minute lead, and you kept that for the most part throughout the seed until you cleared the Wizrobe room and won. And then from that point forward, he did not enter level 9 at all. He was still looking for it, and he did not clear that room.
Yeah, that was definitely an obnoxious room, and you saw me go back for bombs and potions, but wow, this seed literally left me speechless, I think.
It just looked like it was a whole lot of not fun. It just looked like Wizrobes here, looked like Dark Nuts there, and even in most of the dungeons that didn't have that specific enemy set, you had a lot of pulse voices that you had to dance around.
Yeah, I was almost wondering if, you know how the ladder is the key to some seeds, whether the bow was going to be the key to this seed just because of how many pulse voices there were. But yeah, I know Radio Rich is here and want to give him a chance to speak if he'd like to.
It looks like he may have a small issue with his push to talk as he's got his mic muted on the Discord.
Gotcha. All right, well, I hope you can fix that soon. GG, Rich, if you can hear this. And I cannot blame you one bit for forfeiting from this race. It was a doozy of a seed.
Yep, he in fact dug all the remaining dungeons except for level 1, so we got to see the red ring that was sitting in level 6, the book that was sitting in level 8.
Gotcha. Yeah, my philosophy towards this this flag set has been to try to dig the lower levels first, or the lower numbered levels. So that's why I kind of went back to 1, particularly since I had already dug most of it and I actually had keys by then. But yeah, if the recorder had been in 6, 7, or the other item in 8, it very well could have gone to Rich. So definitely well played, and GG.
See if we can't get Radio Rich's mic issues resolved. Did you have any questions for us as to where some of the items were? Or did you have it all kind of mapped out based on what I told you there?
I was curious if Rich was in as much key trouble or key starved as I was, especially early in the seed.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm glad it's not just me then.
I think you had the most keys of the seed. You had that happen to you right as you were stumbling upon the any key in level 9. Want to say he had just bought a key to go back into level 8 and find the book.
Gotcha. Book in level 8, would have never guessed that.
Yeah, well, that's what we were trying to figure out. Was the bow going to be in level 9, or was he going to have a way back into it if the bow was in 8? Luckily for you, it was in level 9, just was in the last, or at least one of the last rooms you had to check in level 9.
Yeah, one other question I had was that both 4 and 5, I believe, are power bracelet blocked. Was the seed power bracelet required? Because I imagine you probably could have. Oh, it must have been because the silvers were in 5, right?
Yep, that is correct. The silvers were in 5. So it was PB required.
So PB required and recorder required.
Yep, we thought for a minute that the raft might be required for level 9, but it turned out not to be.
Gotcha. Well, thank you. I want to say thanks for commentating, and to the restreamer and the tracker. I think Garion was tracking tonight. So want to thank all of you for sticking with a really, really long, slow, and painful seed for us.
Oh, it was an enjoyable race to watch, probably more enjoyable to watch than to play. I can say that for both myself and Aerodyne, who had to run off to the next race.
Oh, yeah, totally understand. And you know, it's funny because oftentimes, right when I finish a race, I'm excited to go back and watch the VOD, but I think I'm going to need some time before I can relive this experience again.
It looks like, unfortunately, he still has not resolved his mic issues.
That's too bad. Well, again, GG, Rich. Sorry about the mic issues, and well, maybe Captain Green should be sorry for dealing the seat, but no, I'm just joking. But again, thank you very much, and Looks like there's a lot of other races going on right now, so there's plenty more randomizer action if you want it.
Yep, so on behalf of both runners, RadioRichG and Tetraly, on behalf of Gary and Old Wolf, who did our tracking today, on behalf of Captain Green7, who was our restreamer on Randomania 3, I am FuriouSK, saying thanks for watching and so long for now.